Hello everyone. Now we are going to see about the continuation of introduction of obstetrics. So next, what we are going to see, uh, what is going to happen uh, in the intranatal part of it, whatever the problems that takes place to the mother, that we are going to see. So what we are going to see is this part. What we see, this is the total introduction part of it. What is the meaning of OBS? Again, for understanding purpose, we have divided into three parts. That is the antenatal part, intranatal part, and the postnatal part. And now we are going to see this part. That is whatever the happens during the delivery. That is what we are going to see. That is intranatal, mother, normal, and the abnormal part. What we are going to see. So first, what we are going to see, the mother normal part of it. What are the things that take place during the labor, during the natal part, that is obstetrics, intranatal, mother, normal, and abnormal. Initially, we are seeing the normal part of it. Okay. So now, first, when any female comes to you during the delivery, so there is a one part, that is graph, it is present, that is called as a partograph. And what is the meaning of it? So it is a Greek word meaning of the labor curve. It is a graphical recording of progress of labor and silent features in the mother and fetus. So as we know that during the labor, it is not just 1 hour procedure or 2 hour procedure. If the female, it is in the priming condition, so it takes it takes up to the 18 hours. So what is, so we require some graphical so that we can assess, so when the delivery is going to take place. So it is, what is it actually partograph? It is a graphic recording of progress of labor and the silent features in the mother and fetus that we have to monitor it, and it serves as an early warning, that early warning system and assist in early decision of the transfer, augmentation, or termination of labor. So on that basis, we decided, so whatever the further management that we are going to do it. And it increases the whatever the use of it, it increases the quality and the regularity of the observation, that is regarding what whom, regarding fetus and the mother, because in during the labor we have to take care of both, that is the fetus and the mother in labor. So that is the graphical presentation, that is called partograph. So if, what is definition of it? It is a composite graphical recording. Composite, because it is not a one thing that we are going to record over here. So what is it? It is composite graphical recording of what? Of cervical dilatation, and also what it leads to, and the descent of the head against duration of labor in hours. So how the how much cervical dilatation takes place, and how much the descent of the head of the fetus takes place, and in what basis? On the basis of hours basis, duration of labor in hours. So it also gives information about the fetal and maternal condition. So how, what is the partograph gives? Mind it, partograph gives the information regarding both, that is mother and the fetus, and that are recording on, and whatever this information we get it on the single sheet of paper. So that is the concept of the partograph. And what is, how you see in this diagram, that is this is the fetal part of a fetal, then the next one is the cervix, what we see it. So that is the point, that, and it is on horizontal line, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours timing, that is what, when the patient comes to you. That is the, this is whatever this information, initially mother, then it is initially fetus, and then the part of the mother information, that is how much the cervical dilatation has taken. So that's what we are. If you see, this is one another, it is not that much of clarity wise, but initially what we see, the part related with fetal heart sounds, and then cervical dilatation in centimeter, and that on that basis, whatever the normal, abnormal condition of the patient, it is judged. And what are the components of the partograph? So what it gives it? This partograph gives the information regarding the progress of labor, Then it gives the information regarding the fetal condition. How is the fetal condition? If FHS it is increasing more than the normal, then we can think about something problem. And if the progress of the labor, whether it is going in the normal progress, and what is the maternal condition, that is all these things we can judge by this partograph. And what is the advantage of using these parthographs? Whatever the information regarding the mother and fetus, we all this information get at a glance on the paper sheet. That is one advantage, and it is definitely a single sheet. And there is no need of record of labor events repeatedly. You don't have to repeatedly write it. Always pulse, then BP. Just not a writing. Just on or a vertical lines there is a pulse, BP, FHS are present, and horizontal lines, what are the changes that we are going to assess it. And it gives a clear picture of what is the normal and whether it is the abnormality in the labor, that we have to decide whether it is immediate action that what we have to take it. And it can predict deviation from the duration of labor. So whatever the appropriate steps which are required, that we can take it within time. That is the advantage of the partograph. Then sometimes it facilitates the handover procedure of staffs. So, what happens when patient shifts to the one to the second next one? So whatever the information, it is present within on one paper, single paper, and it makes easier for to transfer it to the next staff. And it saves working time of staff against writing labor notes in longhand. So it is also beneficial for the nursing staff, that they don't have to write it again and again on examination pulse, then BP, and then write it again. So what is on just vertical lines, pulse, BP, FHS is there just on 1 hourly, because it is 1 hourly kept. So every time they don't have to write the long notes, just by write it. If it is BP, if it was 140 by 80 or 130 by 80, just they are writing the BP, not all the timing that is on examination. Pulse is this, BP is on exam, FHS is. They don't have to write the long notes. That is the advantage of it. And again, it is have some educational value for all the staff. That is the advantage of using this partograph. And just when the patient comes in the for the labor, so initially partograph it is used. And every time, just when the physician takes the round, and if he just by at a glance he takes he understands what is the scenario in the during the labor. So that is the advantage of using this partograph. Then then comes the labor part. If the patient comes actually to the labor, then what are the signs of labor? Because it is a total, it requires long time in planning. It maybe takes 18 years, what I already said it. So at that time, you can't just wait and 18 hours and wait over whether what time it is going to take place. So there are some specific signs which are there, so that you have to understand, so that you can take the immediate action for it. So what are the signs of true labor? Because sometimes there is also false labor. So for understanding of the false labor, what you should know is what is meaning of true labor, signs of true labor. Then and then only you can understand what is false labor. So first, what is it is signs of true labor? It is the contraction that efface or dilate the cervix. That is most important. Second, contractions usually cause a low back pain or suprapubic pressure, or it may be both. Both the situation can be present. And along with that, contractions are regular and rhythmic. That is continuously coming at some specific time. That is regular and the rhythmic is there. While changing type or level of activity does not make them go away. If patient feels that there is intermittent contraction pain in the abdomen, and it does not that the patient sits on the back, the patient tilted to the left, decreases the pain. It is not that situation. Whatever the position female kept it, there is no change in the pain. And contraction, and as contraction gets longer, stronger, closer together, duration, intensity wise, and the frequency wise. So what is clinically, how can we say that if the previously contraction takes place at the half an hour, 15 hours, half an hour, then it comes to the 20, if then comes after every 20 minutes, then comes after every 15 minutes, then comes after every 10 minutes, means whatever, and the intensity wise also it is increases. So duration becomes less and the intensity becomes increase. So that is the actual signs of the true labor. Now there may be some if you see the difference what is there. So there is that is true labor. It is contractions are more intense, regular, feels like gas pains and menstrual cramps or a backache, and increase in strength get closer together. So that is the signs of the pregnancy. That is true labor. What we see here is, so same, this is a female, and the fetus and the head it is here. So where the pain is at the backside or the pubic, or sometimes it is the both the regions that is present. Now, what is the difference between the true labor and the false labor? So that again we are going to see in the abnormal part of the mother during the labor. So true labor, it is contraction occurs at regular interval. So whatever the false labor, it is not regular, it is irregular. Sometimes contraction occurs, sometimes does not occur. And intervals between the contraction, it is gradually shortened. As in what I have already previously, if the contraction comes after every 30 minutes, then comes after 20 minutes, then a contraction comes every after 15 minutes and the 10 minutes. This is takes place in the true labor. While that of intervals in false labor, it is intervals, it is remains the same. Again, what we say that intensity. So previously patient can bear, but nowadays patient, in true labor, so whatever the pain, the patient not able to bear it, that is intensity gradually increases. While in case of false labor, the intensity remains unchanged. Okay, patient, what if you ask the patient how is the pain? No, I can whatever the pain which is present in the previous now also the same. So that is the intensity wise, and that is discomfort is in the back and abdomen, where the area of the pain of true labor it is in the back and abdomen region, suprapubic region would get. And while in this one, in false labor, there is the it is discomfort mostly in the lower abdomen. That is what we see over here. And as what we have seen, that is in true labor, it is always associated with that of the contraction of the cervical dilatation. While in false labor pain is there, but if you see the cervix does not dilate it, and it discomforts usually it is subsides after giving any analgesic and subside after medication. So that is the difference between the true labor pain and the false labor pain. Now, okay, then if you go further, okay, fine, the presentation part of it. So if you go normally, the fetal presentation, so what we are going to see, what is the normal? If you say understand what is normal, then you are able to understand what are the abnormal presentation. So now here we are going to see the normal presentation. So what is the fetal presentation? The presenting part is that portion of the fetal body that is either foremost within the birth canal or in closest proximity to it. It can be felt through the cervix on vaginal examination. If you do the per vaginal examination, so you are going to feel what is the fetal part which is going to be present. So it may be in longitudinal lies. Lies we have seen different types of the lies. That is longitudinal lie, oblique line and the transverse line. And what is the normal? It is the longitudinal line. And the presenting part is either a fetal head, or so it can be anything. It may be fetal head or breech or creating cephalic and breech presentation respectively. But normal one is the cephalic presentation, when the fetus lies with long axis transversely, that is, and the shoulder is the presenting part and is fed through the cervix on vaginal examination. So normal fetal presentation part of fetal head, that it is which enters the pelvis. So there are maybe 95.5% it is the cephalic, then breech it is 3.5%, face 0.3%, and the shoulder that is about some 0.4%. In shoulder presentation, definitely the lie which one is? It is the transverse lie. So cephalic, it is 95.5%. So cephalic presentation, it is a normal one, and what is here? See in this, if you see in this diagram. So here head enters birth canal first. So face is backward towards the mother's spine, and arms are crossed. Chin and neck are bent forward and down towards the chest. That is, if you see in this, that is what is it? Whatever the hands, arms are crossed. Chin and neck, how it is the chin and neck? Bend forward. Face is backward towards the mother spine. This is mother's spine. This is what is. And head is present over here. So that is the presentation part. This is the normal cephalic presentation. And there are again these types, there are again different types of the cephalic presentation. That is, such presentations are classified according to the relationship between the head and the body of the fetus. Ordinarily, the head is flexed sharply so that the chin is in contact with the thorax. That is what we have seen in the previous. Chin is in contact with the thorax. See here. This is the part of the chin because hand is present over, but it is chin in contact with the thorax. And the occipital fontanelle is the presenting part, and this presentation is referred to as a vertex or occiput presentation. That is occipital, that is back part, it is a presenting part. Or partially extended in other cases to have a bro presentation. Bro, this latter two presentations are usually transient as labor progresses. Sinciput and bro presentations almost always are converted into vertex or face presentation, band neck flexion or extension respectively. So failure to do so can lead to the dystocia. If there is a problem, it does not change this, express this, can lead to the problem of dystocia. What is dystocia? Difficulty in labor. Eutocia, normal labor. Dystocia, difficulty in labor. What is bro presentation? If we see, if this part of the presentation is present, this is called as a bro. If it is present, then it is called as an abnormal presentation. Bro presentation afterwards can be lead to the problem. That is dystocia. So next, what we are going to see about the delivery. Okay, these are after presentation. Then what are the actually labor? So what is the definition of it? What are the stages of it? How the normally time required? All these things what we are going to see. And in between, which part, that is which graph that what we have to observe, that also we are going to see. So what is the definition of labor? So labor, because we are seeing about the intranatal that is related with that of the labor part of it. So what is it? It is a series of events that takes place in the genital organ in an effort to expel the viable products of conception from where out of the womb to the vagina, where into the outer world is called as a labor. So whether it is a single event, no. So it is how many? It consists of 2 to 3 events. That is why it is called as a series of events. There are 4 stages totally. And from there, it is from the in the where it takes place in the genital organs. What it leads to? It leads to the expel the viable products of conception. Viable, which is able to survive after coming out. That is meaning of viable. From there, from the womb, that is uterus, and from where it goes through the to the vagina to the outer world is called as a labor. And what is the time duration? Well, as we know that total pregnancy duration it is about normally it is 40 weeks. So time duration it may occur prior to 37 completed weeks. Then it is called as a preterm. But it should be from 37 weeks to 40. Then it is called as a normal labor. And before this 37 weeks, then it is the that is preterm labor, abnormal labor. Delivery is the expulsion or extraction of the viable fetus out of the womb. And normal, for normal delivery, what we are using the word? The word it is called as a eutosia. E-U-T-O-C-I. Eutosia. So labor is called normal if it fulfills the following criteria. What is the following criteria? First, it should be spontaneous in onset and at term. At term means what is? It is covered the complete term. That is from 37 to 40 weeks, complete term. Which type of the presentation? Normally, if vertex presentation, then it is called as a eutosia. Then what is it? Time duration without undue prolongation. Up to the 18 hours priming, okay, no problem. But if the time duration is more than, then it is not a normal labor. Then natural termination with minimal aids. So whatever the process of the normal labor stages, if completed without any use of external, that is maybe sometimes forceps. If that does not require, then with minimal aids without having any complications affecting the health of mother and or baby. That is, after the delivery, there should not be any problem to the mother or to the fetus or the both the things. If these criteria are followed, then it is called as a normal labor or eutosia. So it is the definition as the onset of regular painful contractions with progressive effacement and dilatation of the cervix, accompanied by descent of the presenting part, leading to a expulsion of the fetus or features and placenta from the mother. So it is basically it consists of the three stages. That is first stage, second stage, and third stage. So in first stage begins with the onset of true labor contraction and ends when the cervix is fully dilated. That is how much? Up to 10 centimeters. That is what is first stage, second stage, third stage. Or in second one can be called the four stages also. So what is it? It is cervical effacement and dilatation occurs in this stage. Second phase, it is latent and active. What is latent and what is active? From diagnosis of labor to 3 centimeter delivery. That is whatever the signs what we have seen in the previous, the signs of true labor, that is the contraction is there, if the contraction intensity increases. If these signs of labor are present, that is we are diagnosed it, if there is a presence of show and cervical dilatation is up to 3 centimeter, then it is called as a latent state. But if the cervical dilatation crosses the 3 centimeter, up to the full dilatation, that is up to the 10 centimeter, then it is called as an active first stage. Now, what is second stage? The second stage of labor begins with complete dilatation and ends with the birth of the baby. And how much time of it? It is approximately 2 hours in nulliparous. Nulliparous and 1 hour in a multipara. If the children of more than 2 to 4, then it is multipara. Nullipara means first time. Nulliparous. So, and third stage, what is it? It is the after the birth and ends with the whatever the expulsion of the placenta and the membranes. That is called as a third stage. And how much time required for this? After the birth, it requires up to the 30 minutes. Then it is called as a third stage. Or in second stage, in different one, there is another one where there is a fourth stage of labor, that is time after labor. It is divided into four stages. First stage of labor, second stage of labor, third stage of labor, and fourth stage of labor. So first stage starts from the onset of true labor pain and ends with full dilatation of the cervix. It is in other words called as a second synonym for it is also called as a cervical stage of labor. Its average duration is 12 hours in primary gravida and 6 hours in multigravida. And there are, as already I have explained, there are two stages, that is latent stage and the active stage. Up to cervical dilatation up to 3 centimeters, that is latent stage, and active, that is from cervical dilatation from 3 to 10 centimeters. And in latent phase from diagnosis of true labor pain to that of 3 centimeters cervical dilatation. So that is first stage, that what we are already seen it. and which is initially the whatever the true labor pain characterized with presence of some show. So what is the show? Initially in first stage, that is as a result of dilatation of the cervix, there is a operculum or the form of cervical plug during the pregnancy, which is lost, and the woman may see a blood stain mucoid distress. See, this is the, it is blood stain and some mucus which is present here a few hours before or within a few hours after the labor starts. So that is a clear sign. If show is present, that indicates the true labor pain sign. And the blood, this is not present during the first labor pain. And the blood comes from the ruptured capillaries in the partial decidua. Decidua, what is it? It is the endometrium of the pregnant lady, which is of thickness more than the 10 mm size, where the chorion has become detached from the dilating cervix. So that is the show. So this is what you see. This is the latent phase. See, this is the cervix, not affected. While in case of fully effect, 1 centimeter diameter. See, this is what are the changes that we are going to see in the how the cervix dilated. Here and in third diagram, what we see that cervix it is dilated, fully dilated up to 10 centimeters. That is the characteristic which is present in the first stage. So what is phase of first stage of labor? As already we have seen about the dilatation. So if this is the up to 1 centimeter, that is latent phase. And this is second one is where more than 10 centimeter, that is it indicates this is the second phase, that is the active phase. So what is it? In latent phase, this one is latent phase. Is the time between the onset of labor and the cervical dilatation up to 3 to 4 centimeters. And how much over here it is? 1 centimeter. And it usually lasts between how much time required from this to this year? It requires some 3 and 8 hours, being shorter in multiparas. If it is multipara is there, so definitely time becomes the less of it. While in second phase is the active phase, which describes between the end of the latent phase and fully dilatation. How much dilatation? See, here it is about 10 centimeter dilatation. How much time required for this? It is about 2 and 6 hours. Again, depend upon the, it is, if it is a multiparas, this time required immediately, very less, that what we say in this. Because I have sometimes what patient says that in multiparas having some 3 to 4 children or more than that, says that he just pain starts and one leg, if the patient is in the bathroom, one leg inside of it and one leg outside of the bathroom, immediately delivery can take place. So that is seen in the multiparas. The second stage may be very fast in the multiparas pregnancy. So during active phase, cervical dilatation during the active phase usually occurs at 1 centimeter per hour. So how much time required for going from this cervical dilatation 1 centimeter, if 1 hour, 2 centimeter, again 1 hour plus 3 centimeter, or more in the normal labor. That is how much time required for the active phase to take it. And for this, what we require, one graph is presented that is called as a cervical dilatation. And this cervical graph should not be used until active labor has been established, that is 3 to 4 centimeter dilatation. So when we have to start it, when we see that there is a 3 to 4 centimeter dilatation, then we can use this cervical graph, that is Philippov's cervical graph. And what is we see, there are on vertical line, that is this cervical dilatation. From where we started? From the 3 centimeters. See, already 2 centimeters we do not draw anything. But once it crosses the 3 centimeter, that definitely it is related with which stage? That is in the active phase. So in 3 and time hours, see this, 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, 7, 6, 4, then 6, then 8, and then 10. See, this is the lines what we draw it. That is called as a cervicograph. We have seen two graphs previously, seen the pantograph, and this one is cervicograph. And there is a Bishop score. Bishop score is producing a scoring system to quantify the state of readiness of the cervix and the fetus. If the highest score is there, it is definitely favorable. Cervix are associated with an easier shorter duration. What are the points which are considered over here? So, see in this vertical line, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And on the this side, what we see? Dilatation of the cervix. Then second one is the consistency of the cervix. How much that is dilatation, whether it is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, that is maximum up to 10 centimeter. Then next, what we are going to see about how the feel of the cervix, whether it is the firm, whether it is the medium, or whether it is the soft. So if it is soft, then definitely it is going towards the lumbar side. That is what we see in the second. And length of the cervix. So length of the cervix, how much it is the more than 2, then between 2 to 1, then the third one is that is 1 to 105 and less than 0.5. Because as the labor progresses, the length of the cervix decreases while dilatation increases. See opposite here. It is 0 to 5 while it is from more than 2 to up to the less than 0.5 centimeter. Then position of the cervix. See this position changes from it is initially then backward, then goes midline and goes anteriorly. Because as we know that the position, normal position of the uterus, it is anteverted and anteplexed, while cervix goes backside position of the cervix. But as the delivery progresses, it goes from back to the posterior to that of anterior. And if it is goes anterior, indicates the labor is going to fast takes place, active phase. Then state of the presenting part, station of the presenting part, it is -3, -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. That is where the presenting part, that is station is there. Yes, that indicates that it is going from downward, downward. So that is, if this is done, that is called as a Bishop score. We are going to three. That is one is pulpograph. Second one is cervicograph. Cervicograph is done up in the active stage of first stage. Then Bishop score. That is three score what we have seen. Two graphs and one score. Now, next, what is the second stage of labor? So, second stage of labor starts from the fully dilatation, that is the full dilatation, that is 10 centimeter dilatation of the cervix, and ends with expulsion of fetus from the birth canal. That is the second stage of labor. It has got two phases, that is propulsive phase, expulsive phase. Propulsive phase starts from full dilatation up to the descent of presenting part into the pelvic floor. While what is expulsive phase is distinguished by maternal bearing down efforts and ends with delivery of the baby. And how much duration it is about in primary gravidae, it is about 2 hours, and in multipara it is about 1 hour. So that is the duration wise for the second stage of labor, and it is a in that situation in second stage what we do the episiotomy is there given that periotomy is another word, a surgical plan incision on the perineum, and where it is taken on the posterior vaginal wall during the second stage of labor is called as episiotomy. Then what is the timing? It is when the bulging of the thin perineum is seen, then during that contraction, just prior to crowning, it is the ideal time where the episiotomy is given. And what is the direction? What are the different types of it? It may be mediolateral, median, lateral, and J-shape. Just see. This is the head of the fetus crowning, that what we are seeing here, anal part of it. This is the perineum part of it. And this type of, what we see that vaginal opening for a fetal head, it is bulging from it. And at a different angle, it may be present this way, it may be present mediolateral, it may be present J shape. Anytime lateral, median, and J shape. These three varieties of the episiotomy is given so that it prevents the rupture of the perineum or perineal tear. That's what we are saying. And after that, the delivery, that is what we see the Second stage, that is the delivery takes place. What we see here, the fetus is coming outside mother. So that is second stage. And now third stage of labor. The third stage of begins after the expulsion of the fetus and ends with expulsion of placenta and membranes. It is also involves the control of bleeding. A third stage lasting more than 30 minutes, it is abnormal. So what is important? It should be less than 30 minutes. So see this 33rd stage. What is it? It begins with the fetus delivery and ends with delivery of the placenta membranes. There are two phases. First one is separation and third one is expulsion. How much time? 30 minutes or less than that. How much blood loss? It is 150 to 250. If it is more than it, then it is a PPH. That is postpartum hemorrhage. Just see, after the delivery, placenta is removed. And fourth stage, that is the begins with delivery of the placenta and ends 2 hours after the delivery of the placenta latter. That is called the fourth stage. And in between this, as the lower uterine segment forms, the stretches, the chorion becomes detached from it, and it increases the intrauterine pressure, causes loosen part of the slide. Then that is called as the formation of forewater. The well flexes head, fits snugly into the cervix and cuts off the fluid in front of the head from that which surrounds the body. And this is formally known as forewaters and the latter of hindwaters. So this is forewater before the delivery, that's what we see with. And during the labor, there are events which occurs during the labor. That is first flexion, then descent, then internal rotation of the fetal head, then crowning, extension, restitution, internal rotation of the shoulders, external rotation of the fetal body, and lateral flexion of the body. So this is the engagement, descent, flexion. Then internal rotation, then external beginning, then external extension complete, then external rotation, that is called as a restitution, external rotation, shoulder rotation, and expulsion. This is one another diagram, that is head floating before engagement, engagement, flexion, descent, then further descent, internal rotation, complete rotation, beginning extension, then complete extension, restitution, then anterior shoulder delivery and delivery of the posterior shoulder. So that is in short concept of what is it. So that is what we have seen about the how the events takes place.